What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Horror Story Junkie, where every episode digs a little deeper into the stories that make your skin crawl. If you're tuning in for the first time, go check out episodes 1 and 2 first, or don't. Just don't blame me if your dreams get messed up. Now tonight, we've got a wild one. I teased it last week. And yeah, this one's about a locked basement door that should have stayed locked. Our guest is Jenna, who moved into a new rental with what seemed like a harmless little mystery. But if you've been listening, you already know. Ain't nothing harmless about a door that won't open. Let's bring her in. Jenna, welcome to the show.
Hey Dallas, so excited to be here. Nervous too, if I'm being honest. This story still messes with me.
That makes 2 of us already. So set the scene for us. Where were you living? And what was the vibe when you moved in?
So this was back in 2020, right before the holidays. I'd just gotten out of a bad breakup and was looking for a fresh start. I found this cute 2-bedroom rental outside of Pittsburgh. Older house, real charm, big windows, hardwood floors. And the price? Like stupid cheap. That should have been my first red flag.
Yeah, cheap rent and old houses go together like horror movies. And it was supposed to be a quiet weekend.
Exactly. But I was just happy to have a space to myself. I move in, everything's good for the first couple weeks. Then one night, I noticed this little door in the back of the pantry. It's got a padlock on it. And not just a latch, like a full-blown, bolted-on padlock.
In the pantry? Nah, see, that's a storage space for regrets.
I laughed it off at first. I figured it was just some weird utility thing. But the more I looked at it, the more it bugged me. Why would someone go out of their way to lock off a basement like that? A couple days later, I bring it up to my landlord, and she gets super awkward, says it's just storage from the previous tenant, and that I don't need to worry about it. But she won't look me in the eye when she says it.
That's not "don't worry about it" energy. That's "I buried something down there" energy.
Right? So naturally, now I can't stop thinking about it. I even start dreaming about it, like hearing stuff through the door in my sleep. Eventually, I go to the hardware store, buy bolt cutters. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I had to know. So one night, I cut it open. Takes like 10 minutes, but the lock comes off. I open the door, and there's this pitch black staircase leading down. It smells like wet concrete and rust.
Oh God, I already hate this.
Me too, but I grab a flashlight and go down a couple steps. And Dallas. There are scratch marks along the walls, like claw marks, deep ones. Not just on one side, both sides, like something was trying to get out or in.
Nope, absolutely not.
There's also this weird metal bucket in the corner of the room at the bottom, old dented dark stains inside, and this pile of what looks like burned papers, all half melted. I try to pick one up and it crumbles in my hand. Then I hear this thump, behind me, upstairs. I freeze. I yell out, "Hello?" Nothing. Just silence. I go back up the stairs, slam the door, and I swear on everything. I couldn't get that lock back on fast enough. I shoved a chair against it, then slept in my car that night.
Yeah, you're better than me. I'd have just moved out, deleted the landlord's number, and burned the lease.
I almost did. I stuck it out a few more weeks, but I kept hearing stuff. Scratches at night, thumps from inside the walls. I finally left after I woke up and found muddy footprints on my kitchen floor, like barefoot, and they led straight to that pantry door.
Okay, yeah, this episode is officially cursed.
Told you it still messes with me.
Okay, I need to shake that one off. That basement situation is gonna live rent-free in my nightmares. But while we're on the topic of creepy houses, I've got one that still makes me double-check my door locks every night. This happened when I was staying with my uncle one summer. I was maybe 16. He had this old 2-story place out in the country, middle of nowhere, Texas. You know, the kind of place where your nearest neighbor is like a cornfield and a half away. He and my aunt went on a trip to visit family, and I offered to house sit for the week. Easy gig. Feed the dog, water the plants, watch their massive TV. First couple nights, chill, quiet, almost too quiet. No traffic, no city hum, just bugs and the occasional owl.
It's always the quiet ones, Dallas.
Right? So one night, it's close to midnight, I'm on the couch watching TV. Dog's asleep by my feet. Out of nowhere, he bolts up, starts growling, low and deep, ears back, staring at the front door. I mute the TV. Listen, nothing. Then comes this knock. Not loud, not frantic. Just a slow, deliberate knock on the door.
Nope.
Same. I sit there frozen. Dog's still growling. I finally work up the nerve, peek through the peephole, and there's no one there. So I wait a bit, thinking maybe it was a delivery guy or a prank or something. A couple minutes pass. I calm down. I'm about to sit back down when there's another knock, but this time, it's at the back door.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm freaking out. So I grab my uncle's old baseball bat and do a full sweep of the house. Nothing. Every door's locked, windows closed, dog still pacing, whining now. I didn't sleep much that night. Next morning, I find these wet footprints on the back porch. Bare feet. No rain the night before. No explanation. I call my uncle, tell him everything. He's dead silent for a second, then says, "That's not the first time." Apparently, the previous owner had a similar experience and found claw marks under the window ledge. Needless to say, I spent the rest of that week crashing at my cousin's place in town.
Okay, between the both of us, we're gonna give everyone trust issues with their houses.
Good. Let them be scared. That's why they're here.
All right, so I've got one more, and this one's different. It's not something that happened directly to me, but I got totally obsessed with it. Like I lost sleep researching this thing. It started with one article and ended with me on deep Reddit threads and obscure forums at 3 a.m.
That's how all the best nightmares begin. Spill it.
Okay, so, have you ever heard about the disappearance of the Holloway kids in upstate New York?
Can't say I have.
Exactly. It's not super well known. That's what makes it so eerie. So apparently, back in 1999, this family moves into a house that used to be part of an old mill property, super isolated. The two kids, ages 6 and 9, disappeared one night. No signs of forced entry, no tracks, nothing, just gone. Their parents were suspects at first, but the case never went anywhere. I stumbled on it when I was researching weird disappearances for a writing project. At first, it was just news clippings and some archived police notes. But then I found this blog by a guy who claimed he rented the house years later. He described hearing footsteps above his room, except the attic had been nailed shut. One night, he says he left a recorder running overnight. When he played it back, there were children's voices whispering. Not full sentences, but fragments like, "Get out and still cold."
Nope. Nope. Anything involving whispering kids is an automatic delete for me.
Same. But I couldn't stop reading. The guy posted the audio, low quality but real creepy. The whispers were layered, like more than one kid. And here's the kicker. One of the phrases sounded like it said, "They never fed us."
Okay, I regret asking for details.
It just stuck with me. Like, what happened to those kids? Why was there almost no record? No follow-ups? The house got demolished in 2011, officially for foundation instability. But I read a local piece that mentioned neighbors complained of screams before it came down. I don't know if it's all true, but I think about it way more than I should.
That's what makes these stories so good and so messed up. It's not always the things that happen to us. It's the ones that make you question what else is out there. And speaking of things that make you question stuff, let me hit you with one last one before we wrap. This one's from when I was working a freelance gig editing old video archives for this local historical society. Super boring work most days, just cleaning up footage, renaming files, all that. But then I get this set of VHS tapes from the early 90s labeled Stanton Hill footage. No context, just date stamps and file numbers. I'm reviewing one late at night, headphones on, lights off, dumb move, and I start noticing something weird. Each tape is like 20 minutes of this small town church and cemetery, shot from a distance. The camera doesn't move, just sits there, but every so often you'll see someone standing in the back. Still, like dead still, watching.
Wait, Like in every tape?
Yep, different spots. Same figure. Black coat, wide-brimmed hat, no movement, just there. I go back through a couple of the tapes. He's in almost all of them. I think it's some weird prank, right? Until I look up the place. Turns out, the church burned down in '93. Whole structure gone. But here's the kicker. The tapes are dated 1996.
Stop it right now.
I asked the archivist where the tapes came from. He said they were donated anonymously, dropped in a box with no note. I even drove to Stanton Hill once to check it out. There's nothing left but a few stones and part of the cemetery gate. But when I got out to take a photo, I swear I felt someone watching me. I stayed for maybe 5 minutes and got the hell out of there.
Okay, yeah, your stories come with way too much energy attached, like haunted download links.
That's why we tell them. Gotta let the stories breathe or they'll follow you home. All right, y'all, that's it for episode 3 of Horror Story Junkie. Huge thanks to Jenna for sharing her stories and surviving them so she could be here with us tonight. You made it this far, you're officially part of the crew. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating, and send us your scariest story. We just might feature it in an upcoming episode. Until next time, lock your doors, trust your gut, and whatever you do, don't follow the sound coming from your basement.